Just because I'm in the race doesn't mean that I'm fully ready. Just because I'm shaking does not mean I'm not steady.
Steady. I come from a middle class family, and when I came from a middle class family, I know all types of shit that we get to go through. I've been that person who will not go out and seek help.
This is the one of the few things in life you should not own.
जितनी चादर है उतना ही पैर फैलाओ.
I feel it's a disease.
All right. What makes you say that?
Can be unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Can be unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Don't go all in. It's a very contrary advice, I know, but do not go all in.
So, what are you actually extremely proud of yourself, Pratham? Superb. Lovely. Okay, Pratham, thank you so much for being on the show. All right, guys. So today it's yet another episode of Break Your Barriers, and I have an amazing co-founder who has not only helped me in my business, but at the same time has been helping hundreds of coaches and consultants out there as a co-founder of UAbility, Pratham Sharma, and the fact that he's amazing with communications with people and really able to connect with who is sitting on the other side. That's my favorite part about him. But today, this episode is genuinely digging deep into Pratham's individual journey. And Pratham, so welcome to the show. It's superb to have you. Yes. Now, I think I want to really get to the point because I come from a middle class family. And when I came from a middle class family, I know all types of shit that we get to go through. But I want to understand from you, what is your take on the word middle class?
So I can be unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
What if I offend people?
If you do, that's opinion.
I feel it's a disease.
All right.
Because people attach a lot of novelty, in my experience, to poverty, bolo,
Correct.
low
Because
middle class,
it's
middle
like
class.
that sympathy is novelty.
And not just that, I'm like, oh, we are middle class people, हमारे लिए तो होता ही है. So they own this statement, and this is the one of the few things in life you should not own. There is no novelty in being middle class. It is an absolute nightmare. It is an absolute disease, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
What makes you say that?
Because Khush, I also, like you mentioned, I also grew up in a lower middle class family. I'm originally from Mumbai, and I'm not going to get into the extreme backstory.
Correct, absolutely,
बहुत
that's
लंबा हो
okay,
जाएगा.
yeah.
I'm open to share, but just that it will be very long.
Correct.
Right. So, but long story short, TLDR, my dad came from a very good background. My Pardadaji was a caterer, and he used to make sweets to the degree where, all these Lata Mangeshkars and politicians used to specifically request for those sweets.
Wow.
My Pardadaji, my dad's grandfather, used to be in that business, but something unfortunate very happened to him, and he passed away at an age he should not have passed away. And my dad was not at 18 years that time.
Okay.
And my dad and my Pardada had full plans to expand the business, and they had like a full thing. And I know for a fact, if Pardadaji did not pass away, Dad would have been uber wealthy. I would have been born into a shit silver spoon up my butt. Right? So वो हुआ नहीं, and of course Pardadaji had brothers, and you know how it happens.
Yeah. It
So
was
my
all
dad,
family drama.
yeah, my dad got nothing in his pocket. So he had to start from scratch and all that. So he used to live in like 7 freaking people living in a I wouldn't even say it's a 2 BHK, it's a 1.5 BHK in Mumbai. It's like a chawl in my opinion. So वो scarcity बचपन से देखा. And with all respect to my dad, Papa, I love you, and you've been the best father ever, and you still are. इनके कैपेसिटी में उन्होंने जितना करना था बहुत दिया, and but वो देने में ना वो खर्च हो गए. That's what I saw, and I saw that every time we were growing up, I could just tell the nook and crannies. And this is the thing that parents think that children don't know. Children know.
Correct. They know.
And sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes they're smarter.
Yes.
So my sister and I, we could tell that, जब mom dad से चुप kitchen में बात करते थे, कहते किस महीने का budget कितना है, इसका birthday आ रहा है, उसको toy चाहिए था दिलवा दे.
So sweet, yes.
So I could just tell, वो ना ऐसे खुसुर कर रहे हैं, and I could just make out some words. I could tell they're budgeting.
Correct.
Right? And mom thinking, कोई नहीं मैं वो साड़ी और दो
correct, exactly. It's just cutting down on
all
things.
that basic life shit. It's not even leisure, dude. And I used to think, and I never used to tell my parents that I heard you.
Yeah.
I used to be like, क्या करना है? So I was always an introverted kid. I still am. It's just that, of course, business makes you a different
Correct,
person. So that's
correct.
okay.
Okay.
But middle class, I say that is a disease. It's a nightmare, is because there's no positive thing that comes out, and people thinking this idea of you learning to be a hustler and grow from the ranks, from the gutter to the rags to riches
Rag to
story.
riches.
Dude, everybody tells you the richest part more. Nobody tells you the rags
Rag
as
part.
the reality part
Exactly.
of it.
Yes.
The experience is horrible. Nobody in my experience, in my opinion, nobody should have to learn resilience and strength and bravery and courage like this, man. Right? So that's my genuine opinion. I could be wrong. It also makes you strong, there's no doubt. But the problem is you're strong because you had no choice. You're not strong because you were given a choice.
Absolutely. And I truly feel that, see, I was born in a middle class family, but it turned out to be way more difficult because I lost my dad very early. So the responsibility and all of the things just came all of a sudden when I was 17.
Then you resonate even more.
Correct.
Right?
So, I mean, now this budgeting was not happening between mom and dad. Budgeting was happening between me and my mom. Like, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Let's cut down on this. Let's not buy this. We can go around with this. We can take this. So, I would want to ask you, Pratham, that what was that moment that made you realize that you didn't wanted to be this person for the longest period of time? Because half of the middle class family, or even more, I mean, they live in that state. As you said, novelty, they love to stay in that state also. Like, jitni chadar hai utna hi pair phailao.
Your mindset becomes like that. You fall in love with misery.
Correct. So what was that moment when you realized that you wanted to not be in that and fight for it to come out of it?
A couple of incidents come to mind, but first that is clicking to my head might seem not very like big in comparison to
That's
others, but
okay.
it's a
Little things
turning
are
point.
actually matter.
It was, I think, my mother and I went somewhere, and it was the same thing. My mom and dad got me like a wo tha na, there was this movie that came, Transformers.
Ah, yes, okay.
And
Yes.
uski
Yeah,
comics and
yes,
cartoon aata
yeah,
tha. So
okay.
the car turns into a
Yeah,
robot.
correct,
robot.
correct, correct.
I was a big fan of that, right? And so my dad found this robot toy that could walk, and it was a big deal that time.
Of course.
And that toy costed pretty decent. And my dad got it on my birthday, and my mom and dad gave it to me. I was so happy because I was a kid here. I saw the toy and I'm like, oh shit, toy, this is what I wanted. Oh my god, oh my god. This is the toy that I had told my dad कि मुझे चाहिए. I went in a store like this, and my dad is like, अभी ले लेंगे. Just give me some time, अभी ले लेंगे. And I was like, okay, cool. So I could tell that this is my dad registered कि इसको एक toy चाहिए था. वो लेके आए. लेकिन I also saw on the flip side that I could tell that this conversation, I distinctly remember in my memory. They were in the kitchen, and they were like, they were smiling. I was like, oh, everybody's happy for me. And I saw that smile fade away because my mom, when she got to know that कैसे मेरे dad ने pay किया उसके लिए, and she like, but I could tell I could tell that something's up, and this toy did not come
There's a
cheap.
huge opportunity cost that went behind.
So, and that was the moment I think subconsciously realized, not consciously, of course, I was a kid, too young to think all these things, but it did click me that, yeah, why did my father have to go through so much trouble just to make me happy? Like, वहाँ से till date, I still feel the only psychological problem I have, or इसको पता नहीं क्या बोलते हैं term में, mental wellness problem या defense mechanism I have is I have hyper independence. Because I hate relying and asking for help for anything because it's a defense mechanism for me. I'm like, how can I get independent fast? So that will ease my parents. So that will ease my mom and my dad's headaches or whatever. And they never said it was a headache. They did everything super happily. Right?
Wow.
But it was me who observed that, and as a kid, it became like a seeded thought, and that seed became like a melon. Melon became a whole tree. So I still till date I recognized it, but now I genuinely feel like अब काम करके क्या करूँ, because I'm genuinely not. I mean, I'm good, but वो hyper independence has been going on since a long time. Cool example, you know Max, my बच्चा, right? So when I got him home in 2018, he came as a very weak puppy. And उसको पता नहीं स्किन में माइट्स हो रखे थे, उसको बहुत इम्यूनिटी वीक थी. पार्वो नहीं, उसको कुछ हो गया था. आई डोंट रिमेंबर. ही वाज वेरी वीक, एंड उसके वेट के बिल्स ही ऑलमोस्ट आई थिंक 20,000 रुपये आ गए थे 2018 में, और मेरे पास उस टाइम काम नहीं था. आई वाज इन दैट फेज ऑफ माय लाइफ वेयर आई वाज नॉट हैविंग लाइक क्वालिटी वर्क और गुड कैश फ्लो कमिंग. So this is where I will obviously tell on camera that Rohan and I started during 2019 के आसपास ही.
Correct.
Initial year. So that is when I asked Rohan that, hey, can you give me an advance on my paycheck?
Yeah.
And I promise I will work 2x harder and I will pay it back in 3x, but I need it for my boys thing. He was like, of course. He immediately cut me a check, but I did not ask money from my dad. Because I'm like, not because, and dad was okay that time.
I
2018
understand.
में he was fine.
Yes,
कुछ
correct.
दिक्कत नहीं था
हाँ.
financially, but मुझे नहीं लेना because
Correct.
hyper independence develop हो गया. So I think that one moment and couple of other similar, incidents made me feel कि यार, people keep talking about money won't make you happy. Is absolutely correct, because now that I have money, I know that money is not what makes me happy. But
when you don't have money, that is the
dude,
number one thing that you need at that point of time.
People don't know what it's like to be poor, a lot of people.
Lot
And
of
I
people.
wish you never know, right? Which is where, if you want, I can read a mental note I had written. That was when I got Max. That was the incident.
This was the incident.
Yes.
I really want you to read the last 4 lines.
For sure. But I'll give you the first one so that makes more sense. Which I wrote. My drive to, I think I wrote this note. My drive to make more money comes because I need the money to shift my identity constantly, and I need that money to maintain that shift.
Correct.
I can never be in the same identity of middle class, average Indian. That is my absolute worst fear. My nightmare and my insecurity that drives me. I know it comes from the wrong place, but it is what
let's
started.
Not be judgmental about from where it comes, Pratham, because for the matter of fact is every one of us have had our own stories. Now let's just go down to a point where you mentioned about you feeling that sense of need of not being in that space anymore and being hyper independent or whatever the word is. I think I relate with it, and it's so eye opener kind of a moment for me, because I've been that person who will not go out and seek help.
No, I relate with that, and I'll tell you a flip side of it, Khush. This is a part I think requires some active work now, because वो इतना साल पता नहीं कितने साल scarcity में काटा ना, so now even when touchwood I do have, I'm okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
I have stuff in my life. I don't need to worry about a lot of things now, but I have this constant voice in the back of my head somewhere saying the wolf is at the door. वो scratch कर रहा है, and whatever your worth can go become zero the next day.
And I'll tell you, because I've got some spiritual mentors now in my life, and they really bring a lot of centered core in my journey. And how I look at that is because for example, very stupid incident. If anything good happened, I'll not even smile.
Because you fear that if I smile so much,
it'll jinx it.
Exact same.
It'll jinx it.
Same
and I have lived that life for more than 15 years. It's only last 2 years that I've evolved myself. And I've understood the value that the more you give out, the more it amplifies.
Exactly. The
law
more
of
it
attraction.
grows.
Yeah, more it grows. It's more from the abundance space. But it's easier said than done. Because that fear that is still...
Now you know why I called it a disease? Because the disease is still persisting.
Exactly.
After 30 years.
So what happens is that what I realized is it's not us because of who we are able to feel this way. It's no offense to any parenting, but it's genuinely coming from that societal carriage.
Yeah.
Because it's been asked to us to be having that sense of limiting belief.
Absolutely.
It's a silent statement. जितनी चादर है उतनी फैलाओ, या फिर पैसे को बचाओ, खुश है जितना रहो, ज़्यादा खुश होने की जरूरत नहीं है, नजर लग जाएगी.
Exactly.
And I think नजर लग जाएगी as like Jinx has been so common in our Indian society, more so that I have seen it, that it protects us from being happy. Most of the, at least for me, it did.
No, it did for me too. I relate with it.
It did for so many years, and then I realized that it is me who is actually reducing my own vibrations to fear and guilt.
Shit again.
Fear and guilt. Because there's a vibration graph. If we go and search, later maybe I'll show you. If you vibrate at love and peace, there's no other vibration that can enter your circle.
Correct. You attract that frequency.
Correct. And if you're vibrating at guilt, fear, because it's fear of jinxing it, right? You automatically attract it. And
placebo effect ho jata hai.
Exactly. And you and this is where the amplification takes place. I think, Pratham, I'm so glad that you mentioned this. I really want to ask one last question to you is, the most beautiful part about this question, this whole conversation, was you realizing that you have a certain sense of belief and you're owning it up. I don't see people owning it up also, or even living in this phase that I don't have it. I'm good as I am.
Denial or ego or whatever.
Correct. Yeah. If you had to break your own barriers and really go from a space of not caring about money at all, like, genuinely being in that space, what would be that one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's watching this video today?
Self-education. it applies. I know it applies very everywhere, but the only reason you will be aware is if you're educated. And you will not be educated if you do not open your phone instead of opening Instagram and watching some dance reel, which is okay. You open Google and say, how do I come out of this fear I have of money? Just type that simple stuff. It's an active question. It must be running in your mind if, let's say, it was me.
And I can just give you one keyword: money traumas.
Money trauma. I didn't even know it was called money trauma.
It
I
is.
was like, how do I get out of losing money, fear? I didn't even know how to construct sentences around what I was feeling.
It is genuinely just going and googling it. Money hyphen self-limiting beliefs
Or
and
money
you will
blocks,
money blocks.
And now I
correct.
know these things,
Yeah.
right? But now that you said, now the second incident, it was way later. That thing that what made you feel कि भाई बहुत हो गया ये, I've
अब
got to
नहीं
get
है
something
हाँ
right.
okay.
2017, Bombay. I was there for like multiple months. My father was also there in Mumbai for like almost 2 years in that period of time. And dad and I, हम बॉम्बे में थे तो डैड मेरे को संडे एक ऑफ मिला था एंड dad was like, I don't know, he usually doesn't do this, and my father was like, are you free? I'm like, yeah. He's like sister was not there, mom was not there. He's like कि चल तू और बहुत time हो गया, you and I haven't like ऐसे ही chilled out, so let's go. I'm like, and I want to show you, I don't know, some things. I'm like, okay, cool. We were in Goregaon West. We went to the train station, local पकड़ी, चर्च गेट तक गए, all the way to South Bombay. चर्च गेट पे उतरे, and then my dad showed me first his area where he used to live. It's called as Bhuleshwar in South Bombay.
Yeah, I know, and I've been there.
Okay.
Yes.
So Bhuleshwar is मंदिर है वहाँ पे एक, उसके पीछे एक चौल है. My dad showed me where he grew up.
Okay.
It was a goddamn काला भट्टी चौल जहाँ पे नीचे वो नहीं कुछ कोई बेकार सी रस्ट लगी हुई स्वीट शॉप थी, इसका सारा वो गरम गरम ऊपर जाता था. And उस चौल के अंदर there were कपड़े hanging, 5 people lying down on the floor. My dad said this is exactly where I grew up. And I'm like, what the F? And then I went downside and he showed me his school. His school he showed me was Alishan. But Uday Kotak, owner of Kotak Mahindra.
Yeah.
Uday Kotak is my dad's senior.
Oh really? Yes. Oh my
Yes.
god, okay.
And my dad was in that school in Marine Lines in South Mumbai because that was the time when my Pardadaji was at his peak.
Okay.
And my dad
that
saw
explains.
rich.
And then he saw the
that.
pitfall, yes.
Right. Then he showed me Ballad Estate ke paas, right near Nariman Point se left में जाके. He showed me this one vada pav guy he used to go to eat food because सबसे सस्ता था उस time पे.
Oh my god.
And उनके
I'm
office
getting
से
goosebumps.
उस office उनके dad के office से it was approximately very opposite long distance, but he used to specifically walk all the way there in Bombay monsoons and rains and all that garbage just to eat that vada pav to just suffice himself. He used to have cigarettes just to kill his appetite.
Kill his appetite, yeah.
Not because he wanted to have
I got
cigarettes.
it, yes.
Right? He till date doesn't smoke. So I was like, these are the stories he told me, not to make me feel bad. He was just like, I want to share this with you now that you're becoming a man.
Now that you've grown up and you've, yeah.
So and my dad did not know I already knew this shit. I was seeing it from the kitchen days.
Correct.
So he thought, I think my boy is becoming a man. Let me show him like what
the
it
side
takes.
of my life, yeah.
What it takes to like come out of stress and like real stress, not like oh stress. So that was the second moment. I was like, I already knew this. He just solidified it even more. I'm like, F this stuff. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something that makes me money infinitely more. And I ran after that money like crazy. I worked day and night. I did things I never thought I would do. I learned skills faster than the speed of light. I didn't even know was possible. It is funny that you really get to explore your potential when you're left with no choice. You really get to explore your potential when you're left with no choice.
So what are you actually extremely proud of yourself, Pratham?
I'll be very honest, that's a difficult question because I still feel that
That's why I asked.
That humility has gone from humility. Humility अभी बन रही है, but the humility is coming from a place of over modesty because नहीं बोलूँगा तो गलत हो जाएगा. So that frequency is wrong. That needs to improve. But I still feel that. Do you know this guy Matthew McConaughey? He's a brilliant.
I don't know.
Okay, so Matthew McConaughey is one of my favorite Hollywood actors.
Okay.
Dude is in Dallas Buyers Club. The dude in Interstellar.
Okay.
The main actor in Interstellar. And he had this Oscar speech. He won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. And that speech was the one that I used to tell myself, but I never saw it in front of people. And Matthew McConaughey said it live. I'm not joking. And this was his speech, and that's my answer to you. That I had a very important person come in at a very certain point in my life and ask me, "Hey, who's your hero?" And I'm like, I don't know. Give me a few days. Let me think about it. I thought about it for a few days, and that person comes out for a few days. Like, who's your hero? He's like, it's me in 10 years.
Oh, right? Yeah, I've heard this. So, oh, shit, man.
And every time I reach, that person came to me after 10 years when I was 30 and he's like, hey, are you the hero? He's like, no, not even close. My hero is me at 40. So I know I'm never going to be my hero. I know I'm not, right? And I won't beat that. And that's okay because that gives me something to strive towards and know that anytime you feel you've done enough or you something, and not that you should not be proud of your goals, but I don't know. Or twin perspective is that just tell yourself that तुमने जो ये किया है उसी सिचुएशन में उसी लोअर मिडिल क्लास से एक बंदा है जिसने इसका 5x किया है. तो अगर वो कर सकता है तुम क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे? Given that you have that drive, it's not a race with them, it's a race with you. So if your hero is the you in 10 years, so that gives you an ideal to chase, which is where I wrote that line for myself when I heard
Please,
your
yes,
speech
I
that,
want you to, yes.
right, just because I'm in the race doesn't mean that I'm fully ready. Just because I'm shaking does not mean I'm
I'm
not
not
steady.
steady.
Right.
Wow, I love it.
So it's like people tell you that, oh dude, I really want to do this in my life. Okay, then do it. But I'm scared. Do it scared.
Correct.
But do it. Right. So I think that risk taking is naturally inhibit. So anybody who's not able to take risks stays unfortunately very small in life. So
Very, very interesting. I mean, very, very interesting. And I'm really hoping that I do write back to you maybe in a few months' time and I again ask you what are you proud of, and I hope your answer is not you in 10 years, but something that you've already done in the past 10 years. And
I
I'm
would
sure
try
there
towards
would
that.
be.
I
I'm
would
sure
try
there
towards
would
that.
be.
But
Yes.
मेरे मुंह से निकलवाने के लिए थोड़ा time लगेगा.
That's why in few months. That's why in few months.
Yeah, so
But
let's
I think,
start now.
Pratham, I mean, with this conversation, especially with you coming forward with your barriers and how you are actually consciously working towards it, I want to play a quick rapid fire with you. Can we do that? So what we're going to do is stop with a mind recall, which means what I'm going to say is one word and whatever comes to you next.
Wordplay, word
What
association.
I don't know the other name for this, but it's like if I say day and night comes to your mind.
Perfect, word
That's it.
association. Got it.
Okay, so let's do it. Black,
White,
blue,
sky,
love,
my parents and my boy,
life,
my boy,
money,
race,
smile,
my fiance,
money. Okay, I'll just rephrase it. Passion.
travel,
And if I say travel, what comes to your mind? Can't say passion.
fast winds on a 16,000 feet mountaintop with no human beings and dandelions growing right there and my camera with me and a Milky Way above my head.
Wow. Independence.
Money,
Family.
warmth and safety.
Mom.
Warmth and safety.
No. Mom.
Pioneer of everything.
Dad.
Manufacturer of the pioneer of everything.
Purpose.
Don't die ordinary.
Music.
Relaxation.
Movie.
More relaxation.
Book.
Knowledge.
UAbility.
Lifeline.
Pratham Sharma.
Maverick.
Oh, super, man. Lovely. That was a wonderful episode. I loved having you on the show and really, really sharing so much. I just want you to give one piece, last piece, okay, for an entrepreneur who is struggling with money, one piece of advice that you would give to that person.
Do not fall in the trap of all these fancy reels and ye jawani hai diwanis of quit the hustle, put all yourself out there. Please put yourself out there, but please look at your circumstantial surroundings. If you are a 21-year-old with nothing to lose, fantastic. Go and lose everything. You will be okay. If you are a 25-year-old whose mom is struggling to buy her next sari, focus on stabilizing thoda sa cash flow. Maybe you have to do things you would hate, like a job, like some stupid back-end work, listening to some shit you would not want to listen from anyone's mouth. It is tough, it is unideal, it is not unsexy, but please make that money. Please stack up cash. Cash is everything. You have that cash, you can shut down the biggest of the biggest people who shove on your face. You don't have cash, you're unfortunately unrespected. Your own family will not value you after one point. They view you as useless, a couch potato, whatever it is called. So don't go all in entrepreneurship if you're not ready for constant heartbreaks, constant low days, constant stress, a little bit of receding hairline, right? And you are not okay with any of that, this is not for you. Entrepreneurship is painted as the sexy thing where you just spend a couple of nights on that dorm room like Mark Zuckerberg, write some equations on the wall, do some Peter Thiel meetings, the universe will fall in place. It will fall. You make that effort, the fruit will come, but the fruit will come very differently at a very different time that you don't expect in a format that you might not want for yourself, but it will come. But do you have the patience to stand till there? It's a WWE elimination chamber game. You need to be the 30th person who gets eliminated. If you do not have the patience to stick to the 30th, you will have a bad time. So stack up cash. Do not jump in randomly by looking at reels that aisa hota hai, but uh, believe in yourself to know that you can do this, but in the right staggered phases. Don't go all in. It's a very contrary advice, I know, but do not go all in if your circumstances have not been built to help you go all in.
Superb. Lovely. Okay, Pratham, thank you so much for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
Yes,
Glad to
I
be
hope you enjoyed it. Lovely.